Hey everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. My chat. Hang on. There we go. I had to wait till it started. It won't let me mute it before it begins. How is everybody? Welcome to the Wednesday night ladies night chat. I'm so excited. Got my honey badgers here with me. Whoop whoop. I got Miss Mickey. How are you, Mickey?
I am fine. How is everybody?
Awesome, awesome. We got Piglet in the house. How are you,
Yeah,
darling?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. Momselayor is in the house, y'all.
Hey,
How are
ladies. Hi, everybody.
you? We are missing Mouse Toe. She is in the chat. Y'all better behave or you will get juiced. And Purple, she's probably working. So haven't heard from her. There are 15 people in the chat. Holy macaroni. Let me see if I can figure out if my participants list is going to work. Backwoods Law, how are you, sir? Bullets, Band-Aids, and Beans, how are you? Camper Van Crackhead, how are you? Christy Betts, Dad Slayer, I know who that is. How are you? Inkelberg, Humperdinck, how are you? Jim Males, Miss Juanita, Jurassic Pork Chop, Mickey Mouse, Pepper X is out there handling it for us. And Southern Ohio Prepping, how are you, sir? Hey, Rosanna, Rescue Boss, Living and Learning Life, how are you, my friend? I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anybody. My participants list is incomplete, of course. I think that's everybody. If I missed you, let me know. Oh, Lady B, how are you, lady? Awesome, awesome. Pretty cool. If I missed you, let me know. Oh, Lady B, how are you, lady?
Okay, I got my phone now so I can see the chat.
Okay, well,
Awesome.
mute it. Mute the
I
Yeah.
chat.
did. I did. I was hurrying.
Okay. Hey, Miss Pat Skelton, how are you? Cheryl Gerard. Awesome. Frank Burns, how are you? All right. So we got a pretty interesting topic, I think. Um, I was trying to figure out a topic for tonight, and I had mentioned to Timo that I was having trouble coming up with a topic. So he suggested um, the role of women in a grid down situation. So I said, hey, that is a great idea because the women, in my opinion, will bring a different strength to a group or to your family in a grid down as opposed to other people. Oh my goodness, Rescue Boss. Thank you so much. Awesome, awesome. I appreciate you very much. So the women's strengths in a grid down environment, um, it depends on the woman, I think, as far as what kind of strengths she's going to bring, either to the family or to the group. It's different when you are half a couple as opposed to the woman that's on her own. The dynamics and the strengths are different for those different kinds of women. Um, so the women, in my opinion, will be the maintainers of the home. Oh my goodness! Thank you, Digger. Thank you very much. I appreciate you so much. So, what are your opinions on, ladies, on how do you think when people say they assume that after a grid down, the women are going to go back to the way it was in the 1800s, where you keep your head down and you do as you're told, and that sort of
Hell
thing?
no.
No, I don't see that.
Do you think that the women are going to be welcomed? You have different roles that women play in a group or a family. Say, for instance, do you, Mouse Toe says, crazy talk, crazy talk. Yeah. Do you think that women are not, they won't be welcomed in the hunting group. Say you have a group of people go hunting. Do you think that a woman would not be allowed to join in on that?
I would
Go
say
ahead.
no, I would say any woman can hunt just as good as a man.
I think a strong leader would have to recognize a good skill,
Right.
and put people in positions, like if you're within a group, of course, like put people within a position that they're going to excel at. But I personally, I'm from the old school. Honest to God, I would live for the 40s, where, we're Adam's rib. We're there to support our husbands. That's what I would love to go back to. I hate women's lib. I really do. I think it
Yeah.
destroyed the family. I really, really
Well,
do.
for single ones like me, to be part of a group, I think you're going to have women that play different roles. Maybe not for me. You may not want me cooking, but different roles as far as I think women are better listeners. And if there is any type of, I guess, crew that makes decisions and talks, and like I guess your board of directors kind of thing, uh, those women are going to be insightful for you. I think women are more insightful than men, maybe sometimes about personalities, and where mixing two people together might not be a good idea because they just don't get along, they don't click very good, stuff like that. And then for me, it's like security. I'd rather go do security than cook, but that's me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I think that, like, if you have a group of people, and I think it's wrong to assume that only the women will be responsible for doing laundry. I think that, being able to do the different things, I've been by myself for so very long that I would not be uncomfortable hunting. Um, Thank you, Purple X. Oh my goodness.
Boy, you
Thank you
guys
very
are just loving it tonight. Thanks.
And we ain't even got going yet.
No.
much. I know. I would be as comfortable. Um, Thank you, Engelbert. Oh my goodness. I appreciate you so much. Oh my goodness. I hate when I'm
Woo,
Jones.
Jimmy!
Um, I you totally made me forget what I was gonna say. Oh, I would be as going going to hunt as I would be doing the dishes. Um, in a group situation, though, you've got to have women that are comfortable, like going with the guys to hunt, which I definitely do not have a problem doing. But you also have to have those guys that are comfortable in their masculinity to be able to come in and help somebody do dishes. I think it's a
Or
give and take
laundry.
situation.
Laundry is a
Or
heavy duty situation in a grid down. That's a lot of work. My grandmother used
yeah,
to talk about doing that. It's heavy pots full of water and boiling water and all that. It's just a lot of heavy duty work plus keeping a fire going. So you need a
yeah,
man. You would need a man's help for it not to be dangerous for some other people to do certain things. Not all women, but some women just are physically not strong enough to lift those type of things that you would have to do laundry.
yeah. I think that to be a woman in a grid down, you've got to have common sense about you. You can't have a woman, in my opinion, this is strictly my opinion, you can't have a woman go out and chop down trees and do all that stuff. But the women can help these men that do this. I think that the teamwork and being at his side while he's doing this stuff is important. There's a way to be a woman without being crass and bold and ugly about it. Does that make sense?
Totally.
um, yeah.
Yeah, I mean
To
you don't need any ugly at all, but definitely not that.
yeah. Um, to keep the family together, I think that's important work for a woman. because women's strengths are gentler than the man, in my opinion. Does that make sense? Am I trying to? I'm trying to get my thoughts across to kind of
Women are
explain how I
raised
look.
as nurturers, and men are
Yeah,
not.
Right. They're
yeah,
raised as the protector, the he-man. Ooh, got to do this.
yeah.
Whereas
Um,
women are raised to, you play with baby dolls and you take care of them and all. It's
yeah.
just a different set of
You
attitudes toward it.
cannot allow the family to take care of themselves. It's got to be now. Not in all situations. There are some families where the man that is not married has to take over this responsibility. But it is a woman's responsibility to make sure that their family is taken care of, to make sure that everybody has everything that they need to be able to function to the best of their ability. I think that's
Well, that's
an
what
important
your verse that you said you had plays into.
thing. Hmm.
I mean, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not pushing Christianity on anyone who's not Christian, but in my mind, that's how you should live. Is how
Yeah,
God taught you to. He tells you to do. And I don't
yeah,
think being that way is subservient. I don't see it that way. I see it as each one has a role. Even though I don't have a husband and I'm not part of a couple, I see that as it's a role. So even if you don't have the husband, you still need to take care of the family.
exactly, exactly. I mean, it's the same way even in a group. You could be not married, but part of a group, and it still would be that supportive role. And there are times when you have to step ahead and take care of the situation. Say, for instance, now this is a scenario that was playing in my mind. Okay, when I was thinking about this as far as being a topic. So, a woman has a strength that is hidden. Say, for instance, you're all the guys, the hunting group are out hunting, and you are home taking care of the home and the family and making sure everything gets done. And what happens if you're invaded? Or what happens if you have a perpetrator come? Do you have the strength to take care of that situation if you're there by yourself? Can you do that? You know, and I can tell you that I can do it. Uh, the reason why I say this is because there have been situations that come up where you have to make a decision. Are you going to go that way, um, or cow down and cry? I'm not a crier. I might cry when I get really mad, but say for instance when the animal came, and I'm not talking about people, it can be animals too. When the dog, that big dog, came and jumped into my chicken coop, nobody was here, so I had to make a decision if I was going to handle that situation, and take care of that issue. And I had to choose what I was going to take care of. And my chickens, my girls, as I call them, they were important to me. So I took care of the situation. You've got to be willing to do that for your family, against different things. Don't y'all agree?
It's a lot different between animals and people. You know,
Yeah.
if there's an animal coming out that's going to harm my family or my property, not a problem. It's going
Hmm.
down. If it's a
Yeah.
person, I'm going to grab that gun with the intent to kill, but that's my
Yeah.
intent when I grab that gun. I'm
Yeah.
not going to grab that gun until I decide that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. That.
I cleared, sorry,
Go ahead.
just maybe 2 months ago, everybody was out of the house and I had cleaned my AR the night before, hadn't put it away. It was on my dresser, and I heard somebody in the house, and I grabbed it and cleared every room and went into the kitchen, and my husband was standing there and just started up a conversation like it's an everyday thing for me to come bursting through the door with an AR in my hand at him. You know, he said, "What are you going to do?" But that I knew somebody was in the house. So and that's the first weapon that I came across and I knew it was out, and I had a clip
Well,
ready. And
you can also, some of the women, I mean, there are classes you can take. You can go down to shooting places and find classes in self-defense and maybe bolster your confidence more about grabbing a weapon and going after a person. Because I can tell you from experience, it takes training for you to step up to the plate when it's people you don't know, like you're protecting another person you don't know. To be willing to do that, you have to have a mindset and a training to where it's muscle memory. Now, when it's people you care about, it's super easy. Super easy. If you care about them, yeah, you're going to jump up and do what needs to be done. But to do it when a third party's involved, that's hard. You have to train to do that. And there are training classes you can take that will give you the confidence to know that you are in charge of that situation and that weapon.
That is awesome. Yeah. And of all of us has been in this situation a lot more than any of the rest of us. You've got to do some serious soul searching to know, if your family is in danger and that intruder is a person, how you're going to handle that. As far as the animal goes, I agree with Momselayor 100%. But you've got to be able to do some serious soul searching as far as a person. And Piglet is the one that I would go to for advice on that.
It's something you have to be ready in your mind. Even if you don't do it, you need to play it in your mind. What am I going to do if this happens? What am I going to do if that happens? And even if that's the only way you do it, it's still training your mind to react when the situation comes up. And it's like I said, when it's somebody you don't know, it's a lot harder to step up and take that move. But you have to be willing to do whatever it takes to take care of the innocent, or maybe you just are devoted to your group and everybody else is kind of on their own, which I don't think I could ever do that. But we're not in that situation, so I maybe, speaking out of the side of my mouth on that one. But for 14 years, I swore to protect people I didn't know. So I don't think it's something I can unlearn.
Mickey,
thanks, Chris. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chris. We appreciate you. I was going to say, Mickey, you can speak on this as well, can't you?
Yeah. We have the training in the military that, you eliminate the bad guys when you have to, and you are taught certain things, but that's like 30 years ago, and half that training I've probably forgotten. But even with my medical background, I would worry and have thought about this if it comes down to it and I do have to shoot somebody. I'm going to be going through my mind, okay, that's a vital spot. I can't hit that. That's a vital spot. I can't hit that. I can't do hidden there.
You can't do that.
Where?
No.
I know.
No.
I know. But I'm thinking, ahead that in this time right now, lawsuit, well, why didn't you shoot him here? You knew it wasn't a vital spot. But in the grid down, I tell you what, like Mom said, if they're coming after my children, my family, they're done.
I don't think that you have to worry about where you hit them, because the thing is that what you have to know, and this, I'm just giving you a little civil law class because I've been sued civilly twice. When you have someone presenting themselves as a danger to you and you feel you must use deadly force, all you're doing is stopping the threat. You're not aiming at an arm, at a leg, center mass, or anything. You're going to fire that gun till the threat is gone.
Right.
So your concentration is on that. You don't care about if it's a vital spot. Actually, you want a vital spot, because if you're going to use deadly force, if you're willing to take that step, you better be willing to put them down, and put them down with extreme prejudice. Over with. They made the choice. They took the step forward. They put you there, and you do what you have to do. And don't worry about it being vital, because that's when you'll get sued if you're worried about that now.
Right.
But in a grid down, there ain't going to be no lawsuit. I'm going to shoot whatever I can hit.
Right. If it's grid down and they're coming after me, my family, it's one shot, one drop. No questions asked.
Whoop whoop. Go ahead, Mickey.
Well, see,
Hey,
they untrained us from doing that in law enforcement. You used to pull your gun, do 2 or 3 shots, put your gun up, pull your gun, do 2 or 3 shots, put your gun up, and then when you changed, like especially a revolver, when you changed the rounds, you kept the rounds expended in your hand and put them in your pocket. Well, there's a case in California, and I can't remember the New Hall incident where they actually found highway patrolman dead at the scene, but who had pockets of brass. And instead of just dropping the brass and putting a new one in and keep going, they were doing what they were trained to do at the gun range. And so that's when all that stopped. You don't do that. Let it hit the ground and just keep going. Put your rounds in and keep going.
Fuzzy said, if you grab bad guy between the legs and run with it, they will follow you to the police station.
Exactly.
So true.
You can't be afraid of grabbing some man you don't know's junk.
That's the fun part.
Yeah, you don't know him.
Hello, I'm Momselayor.
Yeah, but Piglet, I understand what you're saying. And yeah, if it comes down to it, I will protect my family with the utmost deadly force because that's my job as their mom, as their partner, whatever.
And center mass, you can't do anything if you can't breathe.
Right.
That's right.
If you can't breathe, you ain't doing anything. But women, I think, have a women are going to act and react in ways that men will not, and men are going to react in ways that women will not.
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you grabbed your AR, Momselayor, did you have all this going through your head?
I knew somebody was in the house. I was protecting myself. Like, if you're coming in, I live in a park, so I have the house up above us was my grandmother's. It was empty. Somebody just moved into it this week. I don't even know who it is. And then there's just a couple houses down the road. We can't see each other. So this house has been broken into several times because my mother goes to Texas to winter. So people don't expect people to be here. So I got here in August. So, I'm here with my family. And, I knew somebody was in the house. Now, every year this house gets broken into. So I didn't know if somebody was coming in to steal something, somebody was coming in after me, because I was the only one home. But I knew that I was going to stop whatever was about to happen. And it was just my husband had come home early.
But then again, like you're saying, you never know. And you've got to protect yourself. And
you have to know what you're doing in that situation too. If I would have gone off with, in my head and all crazy, I could have killed my husband. But, I was prepared, and my daddy taught me well. I've been around guns all my life. I've hunted. I'm an outdoors woman. But my mother, however, is that Proverbs 31 woman. She gets up early, she does her work, she protects her family, she's gentle, but she'll tear you apart. I mean, she doesn't have that bold, gruff mannerism. But when push comes to shove, oh my gosh, that meek, gentle woman will tear you up, and do it in a way that a couple minutes later you're like, hey, wait a minute, that was an insult. She still manages to get that.
Your best camouflage.
Yeah. I mean, I don't push religion down anyone's throat, but there are Tim mentioned the Proverbs 31, and I've read that, and a lot of those qualities I believe in, but which the only one that I have a problem with is the waking up early in the morning before everybody else. I can't. That's my weak point. I'm just going to let y'all know. And it's because I don't sleep well at night, you know. But as far as not being lazy, I don't consider myself a lazy person. You know, and being supportive of my family and um, um, being hardworking, and I consider myself hardworking. I think those are important characteristics for women to have. Um, um, in a in any situation, even in today, you know, before when times are good, I still think it's important um, for you not to be. Um, I'm trying to think of the right way to put it. Laxy daisy, you know, um, and it mentioned in there about even in Proverbs 31, it mentioned about the woman working. I think that's important because you've got to be a contributor, you know, sell your wares or whatever. And even in a grid down situation, I think it would be important for the woman to contribute and be able to sell her wares or help the family financially as well as emotionally. Um, that's important to me. What do y'all think?
Oh,
Yes.
definitely. And it's our obligation as the older generation, not that I'm the older generation yet. I keep clawing my way past it or and under it. Anyhow, it's our responsibility to teach our daughters, you know, how to step in our footsteps, you know. Royal's in the kitchen with me all the time. I mean, from the time she could toddler around, she was there. She was learning at my side. I quit my job so I could raise her. She was my priority to raise her. I look at her as an inheritance. God gave me her
That's
to raise her up to be the best woman that she could possibly be. Now, that was my mother's philosophy for my sister and myself. Now,
yeah,
you know,
that is
we're there
important.
to give advice and guidance, you know, to the younger generation. Whether it is, okay, well, I'm going to teach you how to shoot a gun now, or I'm going to teach you how to bake a cake, you know,
Right.
whichever direction, you know.
Yep. And
Well,
sometimes they can both happen in the same day. We're going to go
And
shoot the
that's a
gun.
fun day.
Miss Sally, show you how to make a cake. That is what I'm talking about being well rounded. There you go.
Yeah. My dad used to tell people that he could tell the amount of fun that I had during the day by the amount of mud on my teeth from smiling as the mud was hitting me, you know.
well, and you'll
Yep.
find too, moms, when your daughter has children, those kids are going to be the greatest joy because that's where you truly see where your parenting came in and the effects it's had when you see them raising your grandkids and them turning into little people before you who who are the kind of little people you want them to be.
Yeah. Well, she's in some situations right now where God is just showing her some stuff. And I look at her and wonder where that discernment came from, where that faith came up from, because she has so much more depth in, I don't even want to call it Christianity. I just want to, she just loves God. And
Yep.
she's in like fighting the deep state, you know, that kind of situation where it's stopping me in my tracks because I don't want to hear it. And God has led her to this stuff. And she's just amazing, man. Just I just told her that this week. You know, I can't believe that you're facing all this stuff. You know, and she's doing it as a strong, God fearing woman.
But you
You
taught
know,
her that.
That's right.
somebody must have. You
You taught her that
Yeah.
though. I mean, your kid, you don't realize it, and I know it from work, but you don't realize how much your kids look at you and what an example they are of you. You can talk all day, but if your actions are different, kids notice that.
Right.
But when you
Exactly.
talk the talk and walk the walk, the kids notice that too.
know.
Yep. Exactly. And I was talking to FLP the other night, and I told him the same thing. He doesn't realize how much of his guidance is going towards his kids. You know, that is important, and you don't even think about it, you know, but it goes by the character that you put forward. Your kids learn from it, and you pass on those characteristics by what you teach your kids. It's key to me, you know.
Well, you have to combat that, what is it, sevenfold curse generations, that we inherit through the bloodlines. We have to do the very best we can with our kids because we're fighting against things that are unseen.
Yeah. The kids today are not raised like we were, or like maybe we raised our kids. The world is so much different. I guess, like you said, you'd like to live in the 40s. I'd like to go back to maybe the 50s and 60s when a family was a family, and you didn't have all this extra stuff put into the family that you have to teach your kid. No, it's on TV, but that doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
Right, where you had the family values, you watched each other's back, you helped each other, you taught the right way and knew, hey, if I don't do this, I know it's wrong.
Exactly. And like, we had limited TV privileges as a kid, and we had a black and white, and that was just, we just thought we were the bomb because we got to watch certain shows, on a black and white TV. Well, thank goodness my grandkids don't think they should sit in front of a TV all day. Their parents don't allow that. None of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're only allowed a certain amount of gaming time on the TV. But homework is first, and when it's time for dinner, you all sit at the table. And there's so many of their generation that do not do any of that.
Right.
Yeah. And these women out there that will sit back on their duff and holler for their kids to do something, that irritates me worse than anything. I mean, I'm not saying that they have to do, that they don't have to do anything, but when you work with a child at your side, you're working with them and not ordering them to do it, and it's a teaching thing.
Right, because you're demonstrating, you're teaching them that you know how to do this. They're learning, and it's a bonding moment. And they're going to remember
Yep.
that for the rest of their life.
Yep.
Yeah, my grandkids have little traditions with their moms. On Christmas, they always make gingerbread houses and they compete. So, which is a big joke because, how do you pick one that's better than the other? But they have these little things with their kids. So,
and they will be surprised.
They learned all that.
And those kids will surprise your daughters because they will do that with their kids because that is a memory and a learning that they cherish. They may not realize it now because my daughter has told me many of those things that we did as kids when they were little. She cherishes that and cherishes those memories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jay said if the kids work the tech better, might be better to have them do it. You are right. You are right.
I live by that rule. Royal, come help me. I wouldn't be here if Royal didn't come and help me.
Yep. Absolutely. But those things that you do together, even as a family, say for instance, you've got outside work that needs to be done. Um, you've got the garden needs to be worked and the vegetables need to be planted. To do it together as a family or a group, if you don't have a husband and kids, if you have a group that you're working with, to do it all together, um, you're teaching those kids and you're instilling in them the respect that goes along with it. And today, a lot of that is missing, in my opinion. But that's a way to get it back. To break the old, street runners and all of that. To be able to bring a family together to do the work together is important.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought, y'all. Sorry.
Well, see,
Um,
that's why I believe that we should go, like me personally, I should have been born in the 40s because I really believe the breakdown of the family came about with women's lib and let's get the women out. That's a whole group that we haven't taxed yet. That's revenue coming into the state or the federal government. Let's get the family dynamic broken down. Let's let these kids raise themselves, become turnkey kids. They come
mhm.
home while the parents are both working, get into whatever. Parents have no idea what they're doing. I really think at that time that was a direct attack on the family. And now it's the norm for both parents to be working. It was a struggle for us when I decided I'm quitting my job. I'm going to raise my kid. I put her in kindergarten. I gave her the foundation. I wanted her to know the absolute foundation, give her a biblical strength to build on. Sent her to kindergarten in the public school. They taught her, now that we had some problems with, I was on a first name basis with her teacher because of some of the stuff that she was saying. And the last straw was Christopher Columbus founded the United States over overpopulation in Europe. And I was like, I am so done. So I pulled her out and started homeschooling her.
Good for
And
you.
then in when I had to put her back in school in 5th grade, but her foundation was solid. She would question a teacher, and a teacher would call me and say, "How do you want me to handle this?" You know. And then
Oh
I got
wow.
cancer. And really, I couldn't even walk. I had to relearn how to walk. So she's one of those kids that knew how to clean the house, that knew how to cook by the time she was in 5th grade. She put on a Thanksgiving dinner that year for 21 people. Now I was there to tell her what to do, but she did it all because I couldn't walk. That's the kind of kid that she is.
That's
And
the
I
kind of kid you
hope, I
raised.
hope that she can raise her kids that way. And that's all she wants to do. She doesn't care what her career is. She wants to be a mother. And it's getting very scary now, to bring kids into the world today. And I pray for
Yeah,
my future generations all the time.
yeah. That had to be a huge undertaking for you, Mom Slayer, to decide to take her out of public school and homeschool her. Um, you know, when my kids were little, I was scared that I wouldn't have what it takes to make sure that they got everything that they needed as far as school goes. I would have had a fear of doing that. And I admire you so much for taking that on. Oh my gosh, that is amazing.
Well, Pennsylvania has really strict guidelines and regulations. And, you know, I don't know if the homeschool movement was just starting out, but there were people just really helpful and coming together. And she was only homeschooled for very short few years because after I got my situation together, I was asked to teach at a classical Christian school, and um, I put her in there. Yeah, so and that was rough. That was rough because I'm one of those mothers that okay, if you're going to have fun, but remember your name, remember your family name, and
Right.
just have fun and don't bring shame on a family.
Right.
So, as a teacher at that school, I had to sign a ethics clause. And as a student at that school, the kids had to sign an ethics clause. Now, I taught K through 12 music, art, and drama. So, and my
Awesome.
focus was on the high school, and it wasn't a very big school. It was just a small country school. And my house was the hangout house. So,
Yeah.
because the kids would go on the weekends and do something crazy like playing Christopher Columbus in the mall or capture the flag in the mall, I'd be in the office getting yelled at because I knew they were doing it. But yet they weren't out drinking, they weren't smoking, they weren't, well, maybe they were smoking, but they weren't putting needles or drugs in their arms and up their noses. And they were just kids having fun. And that's where my channel name came from, because the kids came up with a code word because I was getting in trouble for them all the time. And it was
Oh, wow.
Momselayor is Royal's mum backwards. And the kids came up with that so I wouldn't get in trouble anymore. So they'd be talking about Momselayor, and the other teachers would not know who they were talking about.
That is awesome.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And I've always had Royals
awesome for
age
her as a
kids
kid.
around. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Piglet, what?
That must be awesome for her to have grown up like that and have you around like that.
Well, she has the respect for me as a child and mother, daughter and mother kind of respect, but we're best friends. You know, I think you grow into that once you reach that certain age. You know, you grow into, you know, we're best friends. But, you know, if she steps out of line, I'm mom again. You know, I can snatch her up and say, look, but that hasn't happened in a while.
Yeah.
In fact, it's a reverse situation now. I did something silly and she looked at me like, she gave me the mom look, you know. She does that quite often. I don't know why.
Wonder where she learned that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting
That
crazy in my old
Momselayor
age.
chick.
Yeah. Dang, I'm impressed, Momselayor. I am impressed.
That's
You
that
are the
Proverbs
bomb.
31. Proverbs 31, just going generational.
Yeah. That's right. Awesome. So, if you had a group of people that you were trying to figure out where, I don't want to say where to put people, but how to decide, like if this person was stronger in one area than another person. There are situations that I have seen in my past where, for instance, um, the man would be more suited to take care of the family than the woman is. I know that's crazy, but I have seen it. And for that man to be able to take that responsibility and go with it is important, I think. And the same thing with the women having the responsibility. Say, like with Piglet, since she's not part of a couple, um, her acceptance of the responsibility for security, which is normally thought of as a man's position, but for her to be able to embrace that responsibility, to me, that is impressive. Um, so, do y'all agree with that? I mean, how do y'all feel about that?
Well, I agree. Anybody, either male or female, can do it. When my husband had been in his job for 21 years and he did an early retirement, he came home and I worked every day. He took care of the house. He would do the grocery shopping, the cleaning, the dishes, everything. I didn't have to do any
Yeah.
of it. And he did that because he felt, since I was working and he wasn't, that was his job. Now, it was just like a complete role reversal. And
Yeah.
he loved it.
Oxjaw says, in a pinch, a man needs to be able to do that. I just take issue with the Mr. Mom becoming a social expectation. I don't know what that means, Oxjaw. Surely that wouldn't be a social expectation for the men out there to be a Mr. Mom. I may misunderstand the question.
I think
What
he's
do y'all
saying
think?
that the world did the Mr. Mom thing as a social experiment to it's part of the women's lib movement, like Momselayor said.
Yeah.
so that the woman is the breadwinner and is out there making the money, and the husband takes care of the kids, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's also too like especially in like the sitcoms and stuff that have been coming up in the 90s and the 2000s and today, it makes the man look less of a man. It makes him look like incapable of even a complete thought. That's how these
Yeah.
sitcoms are portraying men. And I think we're taking on that persona now where, as women, okay, I can do this. I don't need to rely on a man because he's an idiot in that Mr. Man kind of way. And I agree with
Right.
Ostra, Now, my husband is 14 years older than me. And right now, he's not able to do the things that he used to do. And like Mal said in the last chat, just leave a laundry basket on the stairs. So I need your manliness to bring that upstairs and reward him. Oh my God. Show him how much you appreciate him. You know,
Yeah.
um, like I just made that video where I could lift that stock pot and pour that broth into the strainer, but he was home. He came home early and, honey, can you please come help me? I really need your help. And that just reaffirms his manliness. And I did
Exactly.
that on
And it's
purpose.
a
I did it
and
on
it's a
purpose.
couple thing. It's a
Right.
couple thing. It's something you did together.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we work good in the kitchen together. He's a very good cook. He really
And
is.
Yeah.
honestly, it makes me think more of a man that is willing to help out the wife or his life partner, however they want to phrase it. If they're willing to
Yeah.
help out and do the stuff that needs to be done without, oh, look, I did this, praise me, and just do it from the goodness of their heart, I think more of them.
And
I've
that's
had
Yeah.
sexy.
friends, and I have had friends that have been like, Mick, I am so jealous. Your husband is doing dishes and you didn't ask him to. I said, yeah, he
Right.
feels like, our life together is half and half. If I can't
Yeah.
do it, he will. If he can't do it, I will. It's a team effort.
Yeah. I can tell you. I can tell you, I had so much fun cooking with Pepper X. That was the best time I've had in a long time. And then he also got to teach me how to shoot my AR. So that was the cake and the
Icing.
the AR practice. Yeah, that's right. The cake and the shooting it too. Yep.
And isn't it sexy? Oh, it's just the
Yes.
togetherness and the education too. I love to see a man half naked in the kitchen doing stuff.
Yep.
Where do you get one of those? If anybody figures it out, let me know.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. What .com was that?
Oh no, 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 no,
I'm
no. I did
joking.
farmers.com one time, and no, 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 it's not for me.
Uh-huh.
Oh no.
They
Oh.
don't
Yeah.
they don't really listen to what you put in your description of yourself, or else they don't
Yeah.
believe it. Yeah.
Well, you can't
Naked.
start out saying I'm gonna pop a cap in your butt.
Right.
Well, I didn't say that exactly.
Never said naked bacon frying. That is never a good idea, Cindy. Can I tell you?
No.
It's
Oh.
not a good idea.
I'm clearing up a blister. I got burnt and I was cooking with my shirt off, had my bra on though, but those hot flashes.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Mhm.
I got burnt really bad and it's been like 3 weeks.
Oh.
Burns are the
Dang
worst,
it.
though.
I was cooking
Yep.
bacon.
Yep.
But there is
Don't cook.
nothing better than waking up and having your husband have breakfast ready for you. Here, dear, I love you.
I'd be
Yeah.
excited if someone made me coffee.
Right.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
That is true love right there. Coffee. Oh my goodness, I can tell you. But in the same breath, it's not. It's a give and take situation. You got to be able to do it too. You know what I'm saying? It can't always be one sided, and that's
No.
what is key, in my opinion. That's what makes a happy family, is
Right.
doing for each other, you know?
And like you're saying with the children, they are going to see this. They are going to see, oh,
Yep,
dad washes dishes, dad washes clothes, dad will run the vacuum, and mom's
exactly.
out there mowing the grass, mom's out there doing this, and they learn by example. And like moms had said, the generation prior to us, back in the, whatever era that was, had these values. The kids nowadays don't have them anymore. They aren't taught that.
You got to grab them by the
Yep,
scruff of the neck to get them outside.
Yes. You unplug the
exactly.
TV, take their stuff, get your butt outside, go blow some stink off, run around the house, whatever. They don't know how to go outside, and my daughter was forever out playing in the mud puddles, making
Mom
mud
sent us
pies.
out the door and locked it.
Oh, I've
You
done
weren't
it before. I
coming and
have.
going. You went outside. It's daytime. I'll let you know when it's time to come in for lunch.
And
Mm-hmm.
at that time, it was safe to do that. Now you
Right.
can't do
Yeah,
that.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
now you can.
we had neighbors at the town we used to live in. They're like, "Yep, we know that boy's name that lives in that house," because we'd step out, we'd holler for Ryan, we'd holler for Nicole, time to eat, and it was a small town, and everybody did that. Whereas you're right, now you can't do that.
yeah,
James Dobson is a Christian author, and he said when you're trying to figure out your child's name, go to the back door and yell that about 15 times and see if you're comfortable yelling that name that many times. And if you're not, try it with the next name.
Yep.
Fuzz Teeth Fork said coffee is a great icebreaker in the morning. I can tell you, I don't know so much about it because there is this thing called Folger's Face that I have been famous for, and that is not a very pleasant thing. Ask FLP; he can tell you.
Folger's face.
Anybody going to
Folger's
touch
Face.
that one? We're going to let that one slide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. I'm just
I,
seeing where I could go with that. And
they have too many
yeah.
it,
wrenches in too many places. I'm going to behave.
I've let a couple of them go, and it just kills me.
It kills you. Hell, it took me 6 months to figure it out.
don't don't do that. Bring it, home player. You take it.
We'd have to put a rating on this chat, baby.
Yeah.
I don't. It's not
Like
rated, is it?
Juanita said about giving kids chores. My grandkids have chores. All each set. There's 3 sets of grandkids. Well, one is a single, and then there's 2 and 2 of the others. But they all have chores. Even my little 6-year-old grandson, he has things he has to do. It's not much,
Yeah,
but those are his things to do.
yeah,
And that's
and
teaching
even
them responsibility.
yeah,
Yeah, and he has to
and
help
even
his sister.
come over here. Even when my grandkids come over here, they have a now they're really little, but they have a job that I've given them to do, which I make sure they do it right. I'm supervising, which not, but not acting like I'm supervising. They get to feed the chickens and gather the eggs. And I can tell you when they go home, they talk about that all week long. How they were responsible for feeding the chickens at Mama's house, and I
That's
just think
sweet.
it's yeah, it's different nowadays, you know. And I think it to get back to that is going to be important. I think that um, just like I mentioned one time in a live stream that I was doing, it's going to be important for reloading ammo. That's right. Um, it's going to be important to be able to do this stuff, to go back to the way it was before all of technology took over. I think that's going to be important to bring the family back. You know,
Yes.
um, don't y'all agree?
Yes.
That's important, but I don't
100%.
think it's going to happen.
Yeah,
Not unless something
I,
dramatic happens.
Right.
yeah,
Well, I see it in my kids, but I don't see it in everybody else's kids. You know, like the kids in the same generation as my daughters. My daughters are more like that, and other people's are not. So
Oh my goodness, Jack.
it's funny to see.
Yeah, that Folger's face is a scary thing, y'all. He said, put a cup holder on a long stick to reach it in the room to offer coffee. Oh my God, it ain't that bad.
As long as there's Folgers available, right?
Right? Well, I can tell you, I'm working on my mountain of Folgers. Yep.
You know, I actually went and got
Absolutely.
Folgers last time I went to the grocery because of you. I hadn't had some in so long, and I got some, and it was so good. So now I started buying
Oh,
it.
goodness. Yes, it
Plus, I
is.
get
It
this
is.
really cool container.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a container queen.
Yeah. And when you use all that coffee, you can use those containers to grow vegetables in. They make
You can use
really
it for
good.
all kind of stuff. I keep my seeds in it because it's dark, and you put it in a cool
Mhm.
area, and they're good. That's I've, one use for them. There's lots of others, but yeah, I even keep the containers for my granddaughter's puffs. When she eats all the puffs, I keep the plastic container because it's tall, but you could put lots of stuff in it and put the lid on it, and it wouldn't be crushed. You could put it in a bag or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, my daughter is crazy. Like, Mother, what are you doing with all these empty containers? I said, you'll see one day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, because everybody's going to be looking for one, and Piglet's going to have them all. So you
Exactly.
can
I told him one
put
day
the
you're gonna come. You're gonna need me. You're gonna be coming to my house, but don't come unless you bring guns and ammo.
right.
Do you think
And
I'm
you
kidding?
better
Everyone,
you better
all
be
my
pulling a
friends know.
trailer.
Yeah, bring guns and
Mm-hmm.
ammo, and hopefully I will learn to cook by then, or not cook, grow.
Yeah, you're going to get it. It's going to be wonderful.
Oh, you should see
It's
my
going to be
starts. They're beautiful, beautiful. If I can just hold on long
wonderful.
enough before the first until after the last freeze comes to get them out there before they outgrow their area.
Hmm.
Because my peas are already at least 12 inches long, the vine.
Awesome.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. They're grow. I got a grow light super cheap and put it over it, but I'm starting to think maybe I ought not worry about it because it's peas. I could probably put those out and it wouldn't hurt them.
Maybe.
It's still
Uh,
snowing here.
Yeah, well,
You know,
oh,
peas can take a little cold here, and we're supposed to
I,
have the last freeze the end of this month.
we had a
yeah.
little emergency here today, and I left the house without a jacket, and it was 12 degrees. And
Oh,
when we got
Ooh.
back in the car this evening, it was 18, and I was like, I'm so glad that I conditioned myself. I mean, I was cold, but I wasn't like just come up from Texas cold.
Yeah.
see,
Yeah.
I
I
would
used
be
to live up
absolutely
there, and cold wouldn't bother me, but I have Raynards now, so I can't live. Like I can do the little bit of cold we have in Texas, and I go out. I have to put gloves on and a jacket and a hat to keep warm. But I could never live where it snows all year. During the winter, I couldn't live there full time. I couldn't do it. I've already lost 3 fingertips. I don't want to start
Mm.
working on the second joint.
Yeah.
No.
Uh, the video that I put out the other day, the little funny video with the sleeting, um, yeah, it was
That was
supposed to be a
cute.
joke. It was supposed to be a joke. But anyway, my honey FLP said, you need to break out the snowblower. I said, do you realize I have never even seen a snowblower in real life? I've never even laid eyes on one. I've never seen one.
Well, you
That's
come on
how
up here.
we never get snow. So, it was a joke. The blizzard of 2019. Yep, that's what it was. I made it, y'all. I made it. Whoop whoop. I made it.
Yay! Yeah, I can do without all that.
Yep.
I don't want to live in Florida or anything. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I don't need 9 months of snow or 6 months of snow. I lived in South Dakota, and it's like 9 months of winter.
Ew.
Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, it was fun at the time. The kids had a blast, you could sled out of the second story window of our house because of the snow drifts. I mean, I remember doing that with my kids with cardboard and all. And that was fun. I mean, they had a blast up there, but I couldn't live up there now because I couldn't do the cold.
Yeah. You would have to be, I know that people that stay up north all the time have to get acclimated to it. It would take me a minute to get used to that because I'm not. Jim Pierce said salt shaker. He accused me of that in my video, that I was out there with a salt shaker putting the salt on the board.
Doing the
It was
sleep.
for real. Yeah, it was for
I'm
real
with Jim.
sleep.
That didn't look like real sleet at all.
Not the sleep we're used to. Yeah.
Hey, that's Louisiana sleet, okay?
We got sleet that comes down and you got a duck so it doesn't knock you out when it hits you.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, because it goes splat.
They say sleet on the Weather Channel down there, and everyone freaks out. So you got to understand.
Yeah. That's right. It would, Gibson girl. It would take me more than a minute. I promise. I promise it would.
If you were
I don't
far
know
enough
that-
north, the cold wouldn't be as bad because it'd be dry.
Yeah.
But it's still cold.
Well, I know going from the north to the south that was horrible. In fact, I actually passed out from the heat being so at Walmart of all places.
Yes.
Called an ambulance and everything. You know, and
Really?
it's just reverse. Yeah, it's you know, you guys come up here and freeze your behinds off. We go down there and just dehydrate.
Well, it's humidity too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes it miserable.
Because I was that way when I went for basic training in South Carolina. It was terrible.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was terrible.
Oh,
I used to make fun of Miles all the time for being cold, and I apologized to her coming from the south back up to the north. I've never been so cold in my life.
It's all that humidity, though. That's why when they say snow or sleet, they freak out.
But you do get used to it, right, Momselayor?
Oh, yeah. I quit smoking about 6 weeks ago, but up until then, I was going outside every night smoking, well, all the time smoking, and I'd just wrap up in a blanket and just try to, you know, that addiction to the nicotine was more to me than actually being cold. So I would be out there for hours just chain smoking. I was a chain smoker. And that's how I conditioned myself to be used to the cold. Yeah, but I haven't done it for 6 weeks. But I still handled the cold today.
Awesome.
Well, congratulations on the smoking stoppage.
Right?
Thank you. Stop smoking, and I'm down officially 166 pounds.
Yahoo! Awesome.
That's the big one. That's
Score.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
I'm going to get to stop smoking the end of this month when I go to the doctor. I've made up my mind. I'm going to quit.
Good for you.
Awesome.
When my grandkids old enough, my granddaughter, I always swore my grandkids would never see me smoke. And they have. So I've really got to stop.
It's hard to quit.
Oh, yeah. I quit one time for a really long time, like years. And then when I had, they told me I had cancer, I went to smoking, which that was a brilliant idea, I'm sure. But just the stress of the whole thing was like
sometimes
either
that's how
liquor or a cigarette. Which one do you want it to be?
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm thinking cigarettes are cheaper than the tequila I would go through.
Oh, dang.
Oh, yeah. Momselayor knows what I'm talking about. It's all
sometimes
the unknown.
that's the only way you can deal with stuff. But, you know, like when I had cancer, I am a control freak. You know, I like to know how this is happening, what my position in is it. I want it laid out, you know, when it's something that I can control. You can't control cancer. You have no idea. You don't even know what the terms they're using. You know, when they told me I had cancer, they called me to tell me I had cancer. I had to call them back to ask, what did you just say? Because I quit listening after you said it's cancer. You know?
I can't believe they told you on the phone.
Yeah, and I had just come down. He was like, everything's looking good. It didn't look bad at all. And then 10 minutes later, he's calling me and saying, I was wrong.
Well, they
All
refuse
right.
to give lab results here. With you have to make an appointment, whether it's cancer or non-cancer. You have to make an appointment.
Mm.
Yeah, they should have done that. That's terrible.
Tacky?
That's
Yeah. There was a lot
yeah.
wrong
Unethical.
with
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
was a lot wrong with that situation. Yeah. But that's where you learn that God is in control of everything. That was just okay, God, you got it. I'd take it back every once in a while. You got it, you keep it, And literally I had bone cancer in my right knee, and the like a week before my surgery I had to get another MRI, and I had to take the old MRI images and the new MRI images to the surgeon, and he'd put one up and he'd put another one up, and he'd look at the one and he'd look at the other one, and then he went and got another doctor and put them back up again, and they're talking in front of me. My mother, my preacher's wife, was one of my best friends, and myself. And they're talking amongst themselves, and they were saying, it's not there. It's not there. The cancer, just through power of prayer, I still had cancer, but it left my bone and went into my soft tissue. So
Wow.
God removed that cancer from my bones. Then they kept telling me, this can't possibly be right. This is not right what we're seeing. The surgery was in like 3 days. And up until I came out of the anesthetic, I wasn't sure I was going to have a leg, because that was like, we don't know what we're doing yet. We don't believe these MRI images. We're going to see what we see when we get in there. You may or may not have a leg when you wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
All right, God, you are totally in control. And on top of that, it was my husband's 43rd, 45th birthday, when all this was happening. The surgery was his birthday, so
Oh
we were
man.
just crazy. And I woke up with a leg. I had to learn how to walk all over again, but every pain that I get in that leg, every time I bump it and it's bleeding because I don't have a lot of filling in that leg, I can feel deep
Yeah.
but not surface. I thank God that I
Yeah.
still have a leg,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
That's
don't think you. I think people deal with those situations that life throws at you, or that God presents you, by having faith. Faith helps you. That's like all the years as a police officer. I always told all trainees. I said, "I'm not telling you to go run out and become a Baptist. I'm not telling you that. I'm just telling you, if you have some belief in some higher power, whatever you want to call it, Buddha, Allah, whatever. I think if you have some type of faith that you can fall back on when you deal with some of these things, that you'll last longer in this career field. If not, 2-3 years in, you're going to vapor lock and be done.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be burnt out and you got to go."
And then you figure out what's important. What is really important in your life? Material things? No. Family? Absolutely. Relationships?
ab-
Yes.
I
Right.
never would have made my deal without my mother. She had the same kind of cancer, but it spread. She didn't find it until she was later. But I never would have made it through all that if it weren't for my mom.
yeah.
Because she never complained. She never, like, why is this happening to me? She was never, ever like that. And so I
Mm.
thought, well, I am only a 2, and my mom was diagnosed when she was a 4. So if my mom can do all this and everything I've seen her go through, then having this at a 2 and double mastectomies is a cakewalk compared to what she's had done to her lungs and to her liver and chemo and all that. I'm not going to complain about any of it because mine was a cakewalk.
It's over in
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's over. We went over our minutes, Momselayor. I heard you whisper that. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, this is fantastic. Y'all don't realize how strong these women are and why they mean so much to me. This is why they are.
Oh,
This
I
is
love
why
you
they are.
too.
They're inspirational. Y'all know that they are inspirational.
Well,
The
I'll tell
the
you what, I have
wisdom.
such respect for Momselayor now, even more, knowing
Me
what she
too.
went through.
Yeah,
Because that that's a tough row to hoe.
That takes a
Oh,
lot of
Yeah.
strength.
it's God. It's not me. I'd be a puddle if it wasn't
Yeah.
for God.
Yep.
But thank you. Thank you.
Yep. And our mouse toes out there in the side chat. She's another one. Holy macaroni, y'all.
What is she
These
doing to
women.
people?
She's being good. She's being good. She hadn't juiced anybody that I could tell. I'll have to go back and watch the chat. I can never keep up with it when I'm talking. But these women mean the world to me, and that is why I look forward to them inspiring me to be a better me. This is just cool. I love y'all. Love y'all.
Oh,
Oh,
love
we
you
love you
too.
too.
These Wednesdays are just everything to me. I lost a lot of my friends are tied up in my job, so uh,
Yeah.
it's kind of like starting all over again as a grown up kind of thing.
Did y'all see what Moss
I
wrote?
know.
Yeah.
No, dick free tonight. That's our Mousy.
Oh God, you gotta love her.
Y'all, if y'all just knew. Oh my goodness. So this has been a fantastic hour and a few minutes, and I'm sorry we went over, but I love it, love it, love it.
Timo had a great idea for you.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. He did.
Is he here tonight? I haven't seen him on a chat.
I think I saw him earlier in the chat. This chat was his suggestion, and I thank him for that for sure.
Yep, that was awesome.
Yep. So, do y'all have any closing thoughts you want to holler out there? Anybody in the side chat have any questions before we close it up? I can tell
Everybody
you, I
just
have.
remember 3D.
Yes.
Yes.
Say a little
Mhm.
prayer
Yeah.
for her, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
I'm gonna go see her tomorrow.
Awesome.
And, I'll pass on the good words from the ladies because we already talked earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, just keep her in
Absolutely.
your thoughts. I can't imagine. Well, I can, but I can't imagine both my parents gone. So.
Yeah. Carrie Honey Badger hugs to her for us. Absolutely. Y'all out there in the side chat, say your prayers and keep her in your thoughts. And it is awesome, Pepper X. Dang it! And they are.
We've been trying to do it for weeks, so this is a good one.
Yeah, and they're close enough. If I didn't have to work, I would be joining them. Wouldn't that be a hoot? Holy
we're
mackerel!
gonna
Oh, the
discuss
three of you
road tripping.
together?
We're gonna discuss road tripping because I think maybe 3D and I need us a little vacay. And since Nita can cook the best biscuits I've heard, so I'm excited. We might have to do that.
All right, y'all. We're going to close it down, and we hope that you've enjoyed the chat tonight, and we hope to see you here next week. Same time, same channel. We love y'all. Everybody have a good night.
All right.
Love
Night,
you.
ladies.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Love
Thanks
y'all.
for coming.